Yeah, I think that anytime you have an opportunity to win a game or do something that has ramifications of being in a conversation of maybe the most historical win ever, maybe in program history. And I don't mean any disrespect to any past groups, but that's a pretty special win and a pretty amazing historical day to host our first game ever, to win it in the fashion we did, in the conditions we did, as dominantly as we did. All three phases of the football team were playing well. It was like it wasn't even snowing out there at times, the way we were executing. On a weekend of Thanksgiving break where you weren't sure about crowd, no students, and temperatures, dipping under the 20s. And what an amazing atmosphere, incredible by the campus and the alumni and the community. It feels like we won that game for a lot of people. And we don't take lightly what it means historically and what it means for the program. But again, I've said it all year, and it's like this group's got way bigger expectations and higher goals. And we appreciate it a lot, but we've already turned the page. We're excited about this week. And we understand that when they start with over 240 teams and there's 16 left, and you got a legitimate opportunity to do something uniquely to win it all in this national playoff, guys are ready to turn the page and are motivated for the next week ahead. Yeah, St. John's is one of the pillar programs. If you spend any time around Division III football, like I have my entire career, about St. John's. Again, we got enough players from around the area that understand the historical dominance they've had at times in this division and what they've meant to Division III football. And again, we respect them and know how good they are, and clearly they got talent on both sides of the football. We recruit against each other, so we're familiar with a lot of their players or kids that we recruited as well. We understand we have a massive challenge on our hands. And again, I'm not saying anything that's a secret, or I'm giving anything away that I shouldn't, but we're used to this kind of battle. When you every week line up against Whitewater and La Crosse and Platteville and Oshkosh, those are battles that you got to get ready for a 15-round slugfest every time you step on the field. So I think there's some advantage there with our league and the preparation that it forces your hand into having to do every week. You got great coaches in this league and great players in this league, and you'd like to think that it's got us ready for this moment right here. But we know how good this football team is. We know the challenge on our hands. Excited to get to do it in front of our home crowd again. And you could argue that that's leading up to be maybe one of the best atmospheres in the history of this place. I can't imagine that we're not going to have the biggest crowd we've ever had on hand, and they're going to travel well. It's like, is there a better game in the country in all of college football going this weekend, other than some of those, you could argue some of those championship games at the highest level, but there's no game I'd rather watch if I'm a fan than the one that's going to happen here on Saturday.